Hello, everyone. I am here today with a powerhouse. Courtney Friel has been in the entertainment world. She is a news correspondent. She's worked for Fox. She's on KTLA. But this woman has really caught my eye. First of all, we met on Instagram, and I started to watch her, creep on her, if you will. And what I love most about her is she is radically authentic. This woman shows up glamorous because that's who she is. She's unapologetic, and she's even gone so far to use her life in service. And this touches my soul so much because she has bared all to serve other people. And what I mean by this is she shares how she used to live a double life. And we're going to get into that today. But she shares about this in her book, Tonight at 10, Kicking Booze and Breaking News, where she talks all about her journey to being a correspondent, to things that happened along the way, to her living a double life, her addiction to alcohol, Adderall, cocaine, you name it. And now she's truly living a life of service. And that is why she is here today. So welcome to the show. Thank you
so much for having me. And all of those things you mentioned, I feel like wouldn't have happened if I didn't get sober. And believe it or not, in 2 weeks, I'll have 14 years sober.
Oh my
So it was the best decision I could make for myself. And I hold my sobriety near and dear to my heart, and I try to help out others where I can. And that was in the book, which is now 3 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I just love it. And I can tell right away when I started diving into who you are. I'm like, she's just raw and real.
I keep it Friel.
Yeah, you keep it Friel.
My last name comes in handy.
Oh, so good. But you weren't always that way.
No, I was trying to get you to do cocaine with me. I was a bad influence. I did always know what I wanted to do professionally, and thankfully I've had a 20+ year career now in the news business. So from third grade on, I was working in the TV studios, on the school newspapers, doing every internship and opportunity that I could possibly do. And at 15, that's when I started drinking and drugging. And I always say I had a 15-year party career. And look, my bottom could have been a lot lower. So I do have a higher bottom. I thankfully didn't get into any legal trouble, but I certainly could have overdosed. I could have lost my job. I could have lost my marriage. And I just love being sober, and that's why I try to share the message about how I did it and how you can still have fun being sober, because a lot of people judge it and think you're like a Debbie Downer.
Oh gosh, not at all. You know, it really speaks to me a lot. Me and my partner, we hardly drink at all. Maybe once, twice a month. And people are always like, is there a thing? And I'm like, no, we just like to feel good. We like to be mentally clear.
Right? Not hungover and productive.
Yep.
That was when I first got sober. I couldn't believe how many hours of the day I had to kind of be with myself, because I spent so many hours numbed out, hungover, just messed up, not present. And so when that goes away, you're available to have real interactions and do other things like learn a new language or take a class or book fun trips that you're going to remember.
Right. Not to mention how much better your skin's going to look.
Right.
Aging, all that, which we got to get into that.
Yes.
But here's what I think about, though, because you were the youngest correspondent, 26 years old.
To get hired at Fox News.
What the heck? So my mind is going, how in the heck do you keep this level of intelligence, put yourself together, land these jobs when you're struggling with this on the side?
So at Fox News, I would get up and take 2 Adderall at like 4:30 in the morning and get on my little mini elliptical in New York City and look for story ideas. And that would be after I'd be up all night partying. So I was definitely not my best self. When I got sober, that's when things really started to change. And then when I introduced meditation into my life 5 years into being sober, I got taken to another level of conscious and just chilled out even more. So I'm very like mellow, and I don't want any highs or lows or drama. And some people might look at that as a boring life, but I don't care. It's easy breezy.
Oh, it's the best life. That's how I live. Oh my gosh. Okay, so New York City. So how long were you there?
I was there 5 years, and 2.5 years in was when everything kind of hit the fan, and I ended up with 7 people surrounding my bed giving me an intervention. And I always say New York is a great place to get sober, but it also takes a lot of people down because the bars were open till 4 a.m.
Right.
And before there was Uber or Lyft, I was so excited to move to New York, and you could take taxi cabs everywhere. You didn't have to worry about drinking and driving. And then also, I feel like the shrinks or psychiatrists in New York, you pay them in cash, so they'll just write you prescriptions like candies for. So I would take Ambien, to go to bed because I'd have to get up and do the morning show. Then I would need the Adderall to wake up. And then I'd get, if I have any anxiety, which I felt like I always was going to have some sort of anxious moment, I had my Xanax on me. And then once I got sober, it's so crazy how the level of anxiety just went away. And things like flying, for example, I'd always have to be drunk or on Xanax to fly. And now it's funny, I never feel like closer to God than when I'm in a plane and take off and my blood pressure isn't even raised or my heartbeat, like I'm just like, oh, we just took off. Like that is so powerful.
Oh my gosh.
How you can have that shift. And it was all because I don't have those chemicals in my brain. And I am a daily meditator since like 2015. So that's helpful too with anxiety if you're wondering what you can do naturally to calm yourself and calm your anxiety.
Oh my gosh, it helps immensely, and prayer as well.
Oh yeah, I'm a daily prayer person. I have a little ritual.
Yeah, tell.
So God gets to see me naked because I put my towel down outside the shower and I get down on my knees before I get in the shower. And even if it's like a quick thing, if I'm in a rush, that's when I have my prayer time, and throughout the day, of course. But that's just like, I don't get in the shower without getting down on my knees before. This
is so good. I love that because it's like a physical thing you're doing, and it's like those little triggers of, okay, like the shower's on, get down on your knees. I think that's so beautiful because I'm always trying to like put habits in and build habits in where I'm actually going to do them. So there's something so...
You can try it out.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I grab the towel so, don't hurt the knees. Sit on the knees.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, but she wasn't always praying before the shower. So like...
Right. Well, I did grow up. So my parents took me to Presbyterian church every single Sunday through high school. And then I would always come back here and there, but usually it would be if something was challenging in my life. That's when you do the work, right? Yeah. When things are bad, I'm grateful for the horrible things that have happened. And I don't mean horrible, because 2 of the most vulnerable times in my life were getting sober and getting divorced. And it was so much like uncomfortableness, painfulness, sadness. But those times made me do the work. And now I'm so grateful. I always say those are the 2 best things I ever did for myself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I always say you can either be broken or broken open. And it's like when you have those moments, it's like it's time to lean in and heal, and then that's where you're going to elevate. Oh my gosh. So
many people won't do the work, which is just baffling to me, but they won't.
You got to lean in. And so, okay, so you were married. So when did you get married? So I feel like, oh my gosh, you started when you were 26, but you had trouble with alcohol.
I met my first husband, and he is the father of my 2 children.
Yes.
We met when I was interning at NBC in San Diego, and that was in 2002. Okay. Got married in 2005. Moved to New York in 2007 to work at Fox, and then got sober in 2009. So 09, 09, 09 is my sobriety date, which I did not plan and definitely do not want to mess up because it's a pretty cool date.
That's a really cool date. Did he have any idea something was going on?
I mean, look, I think people like party alongside you, so some of the partying that I did is like a rite of passage, but I do think once I was about to turn 30, it's like is it really cool to be like dancing like almost topless, like on a bar? Like I was so afraid that I was going to get in trouble buying coke from some shady dealer and lose my job. Everything just happened the way it was supposed to, because would I have gone to rehab if I hadn't been in that intervention? I don't know. And would I have gotten sober if I didn't go to rehab? I think it's very necessary for people to go to rehab, because so much of their life is disrupted that, you know, it was like my work knew and everybody else kind of knew. So it almost holds you accountable more.
But did they know before rehab? Like, did people at work know?
When I went there, I had some of my bosses tell me, you know, your reputation is that of a party girl. I love to party.
She's the fun one.
But I wasn't always that way, because when I was younger, before alcohol, I was very shy and I was bullied. And I didn't know how to stand up for myself, because I was like, well, Jesus turns the other cheek.
Yeah.
And success is the best revenge. That was kind of my motto. And because of that, I didn't like confront the bullies, which now I know you must do. And so then they just dug in harder, and I internalized it. And
Where were the bullies?
Why people like me. They were everywhere. It was like, it was in church youth group, even like girls always loved to gang up on me, and because I didn't do anything back, they wanted to bug me even more. Well, I should have just shut them down. So now I tell my 11-year-old daughter, I'm like, you gotta just stand up for yourself.
Yes, you do. Do you think it's because you're pretty, or why would
I'm sure there was a level of jealousy. I was also on the school TV the whole time as well.
So you've always been outgoing.
Well, no. So then I was shy, but then when I started drinking at 15, that's when I really came out of my shell, and I became this fun, funny, outgoing person who suddenly had all these party people to hang out with. But it also made me be like, well, I don't care about those bullies, because it just like it numbed out that feeling. And I was like, F you, you know?
So it's like your alter ego, like you had two sides of you.
But now I am that outgoing, fun person without the alcohol. If that makes sense.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think when I first got sober, it was like, how do I dance at this wedding sober? It took a little adjustment. Yeah. It was like Groundhog's Day, as I mentioned. I just didn't really know what to do with all my time. I was so worried about what other people thought about me not drinking, which now I know. The only people who are really going to have a problem with it are those that have a problem with alcohol themselves. Because as a sober person, you subconsciously, or, you know, you don't mean to do it, but you hold up a mirror to other people, and people will see their problems in you.
Yeah.
Which then when you're dating is a whole separate issue. But my second husband he's coming up on 22 years sober.
This is so beautiful. Okay.
It is. It really is.
So, okay, hold on. So you go to rehab. How long is rehab?
Rehab was 28 days, and then I did outpatient for 3 months, and
okay.
I did all the things they told me to do. I was like Legally Blonde goes to rehab, sitting in the front of the class taking notes. And there were all the 12-step programs and all of those things. I did therapy. I did couples therapy. I mean, I did the work.
You did the work. Why? What made you do the work? Because I feel like some people, like, they go in, they go out, they go in.
Nobody wants to do the work. And when I was interventioned, even though I was in a crazy hangover, I knew in that moment that I deserved more for my life. I knew that I had more to offer this world, and I knew it would be the best decision that I would make. And I just kind of surrendered and was like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm in rehab. And okay, they're telling me to do this. I guess I'll do this. And then I just listened to what they did. And it's, I mean, as we like to say, like, keep coming back. If you just continue to show up, the more time I got, then it was like, oh, you know what? I'm actually a badass that I got through that situation without drinking. Like, I'm living life on life's terms.
Yes.
And then also something that was helpful was that at 8 months sober, I got pregnant with my son. And then pretty much right after I had my son, I was pregnant with my daughter. So a lot of my early sobriety was, hey, I couldn't drink even if I wanted to because I'm growing this human. And then once the kids are there, so my son is 12, my daughter is 11. Once you have them, like, oh my God, I don't even know how I could be hungover and have kids be like, mommy, mommy, mommy. Like, so it's so wonderful knowing that my children have never seen their mother under the influence. I've been 100% present and they know like, okay, mommy's going to celebrate her 14th birthday without alcohol.
So do you guys talk about it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. We have a lot of sober friends. We've a lot of not sober friends, and that's fine. I mean, the only people I really had to cut out of my life were like the crazy party people, and to be honest, they weren't all that interesting anyways when I got sober and realized.
Oh, they're not. Yeah, totally. So when you went to rehab, did you just have to take a pause from working? Like, did you tell the net?
Yeah, my agent called Fox, and they were really happy that I was being proactive about it. Certainly, they didn't want to have it be the other way around, having some scandal, and then that person has to go. I didn't have my BlackBerry at the time. I had to hand that over, so I had no email or phone or anything for 28 days.
So then did you just come back and pick up?
Well, then I was doing like the outpatient. So it was like for the first month, it was 3 nights a week for 3 hours. The second month, it was 2 nights a week for 3 hours. And the third month, it was, 1 night a week for 3 hours.
Okay.
And insurance paid for most of it. So I'm grateful for that. And well, that's the other thing too. My rehab that I went to was really expensive. And while like insurance helped, I'm such a frugal person that I want to get my money's worth.
Totally.
So I was like, all right, I'm at least doing this for a year. Like, everybody knows. So,
oh, wow.
But then I just loved the side effects, you could say, of being sober.
Yeah.
And I started to notice so much more because I was just a hot mess, and I was all about me. I cared about the most superficial things, and now I've been able to become like a deep, evolved person.
Yeah,
who shows up for people in my life.
It's so beautiful. It really is, and you really get to like feel, see, hear all the gifts God has given you when you're fully conscious. When you're a fully conscious person. And I was thinking about this as I was going through your book and just kind of looking at your career, and I'm like, wow. I think like I am an empath, and
same.
Okay, so I'm like, how does she report on this stuff? Like how? Right. I'm like, I go speak at an event, and then I go in the lobby and I hear people, speak on transformation, and I get like, a little drained, right? Because it's just, you feel so deep, and I'm like, how do you do that? How do you report on this stuff like day by day, or have you learned how to like let it flow?
It's really tough. So I have tools in my toolbox to not come home and want to drink. Of late, the past few years, what I do when I have any sort of negative emotion, or even if it's just like I'm bored or uncomfortable feeling, I set my phone timer for 20 minutes, and I have journals all over the place, and I just rage on the page, as I call it. Cool. And I start out with, what are my emotions? Like, I hate my boss, or like I hate that I got scammed, or I don't like that interaction, or I feel this way and that sucks. And then I will say, okay, what am I learning from this experience? What is my part in this situation? What do I want out of this situation? And then I always bring it back to gratitude and just thankful for all the things in my life. But it's good to get that emotional vomit out on the page so that you're not internalizing it and causing cancer or pain in your body.
Oh my gosh, 100%. These tools, that you learned, did you learn them in AA? Did you learn?
Well, no, the journaling happened because I also am a chronic pain sufferer. So for 6 years now, I've had a headache, which is a whole other topic. And it could be my next book, Living with Chronic Pain, as well. And that's another complicated thing with being sober, because it's not like I could just like take a bunch of pain pills and numb out. But those don't help anyways,
Right.
because I dealt with this earlier in my life, and I was taking all of those pills. It was when I was in college. I was at San Diego State, and I would go to Tijuana, Mexico, and I would just like hang out with this pharmacist, and I'd come back over the border with like 100 Vicodin in this bra, 100 like Oxycontin or whatever in this bra or in this side, and then but that didn't stop the pain. So I just kind of have to like cultivate a relationship with my pain. And but I'll definitely journal like, this sucks, this is not fair. But I listened to a book, it was by Dr. John Sarno, it was The Mind Body Prescription, and that was all about journaling and going back through your life and like dissecting any trauma or things, and even in your daily life, like whether it's traffic, like subconsciously we have a lot of things we could be angry about, even if consciously we're not upset.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Do you believe in therapy?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So good.
I do therapy on Zoom.
Okay.
Every now and then. I'm a huge self-help person. Like, you should see my Audible list. I've got so many self-help books, and I think once you've been doing it for so many years, like, you have a lot of tools in your toolbox, and a lot of the things are kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
Like, people say the same things, but then I just take a little gem here.
Totally.
Take a little gem there. Like, I listened to Jay Shetty's book, Think Like a Monk,
just
recently, and he's like, check your ego or the universe will. And I love learning little sayings here and there.
Oh gosh, so do I. I just like pull them out when I need to, and it's like, here we go. They're your little like. I put on the armor of God every day, and I just like, just to protect myself, my mindset, all that. But I want to touch on ego, because you're a powerhouse, and like,
you called me a legend earlier. I'm like, no, legend equals old.
Honey, you've done. It's not just Fox. It's not. There's a.
I've been around the block.
Her career. You've even been in film.
Yeah, I'm very typecast. I do news.
You've been on
reporter and anchor. Positions in TV and
multifaceted. No, you gotta be a certain kind of person to be able to do all that stuff. Yeah, you do. Like, just take it. And then poker as well. Who the heck, frick, poker, right? You've done
that was a random one, but I at least got to travel around the world.
But this is so cool.
I'm not into sports, or gambling.
Well, the thing that I was wondering is like about ego. So like being in the public world, you're so beautiful, you're exquisite. It's like, but I can feel like even here, like your heart, and like I know even from the work you're doing, it's like you serve, and but does it, like being in the public world, and I want to talk about you and your husband, and he's prolific as well, the work he does, like how do you humble yourself?
Well, I don't really think that I have changed. I mean, except for getting sober and the self-help. Like, what I mean is I think I'm the same person that I've kind of always been. Like, I don't think that I'm better than anyone else.
Yeah.
I treat everyone the same. And people will say that about me at KTLA. Like, the photographers will be like, she literally talks to they're like, I see how she treats every single person. Like, I'm not like a manipulator, like, ooh, I can get something from that person. Like, that's just not my nature. I mean, I really do just try to be compassionate and try to understand what people are going through. And that's how meditation helps too. Like, if some sort of like, thing on the road, like not a road rage situation. Yeah. I'm not like a road rage, like I'm not like a super aggressive driver, but like if you know, I remember one time I was pulling out like to cross over, and the person who was coming this way didn't like that, and literally like told me to roll down my window and was like, you're a crazy, stupid bitch driver. Like, and because I mean, that would have ruined me all day long. Like, I would have thought about that all day if I didn't meditate. And I was literally like, oh, thank you. God bless you. Have a great day. And then like I drove away, and it's amazing how meditation just really just makes you not ruminate on stuff. Right. It really doesn't. Then when I do, that's when I take to the journal, and I don't ever go back and read it. I sometimes if I'm doing it at work, I'll sometimes rip it up or like burn it or whatnot. But once I'm done the journal, I just throw the journal away.
So good. Do you have standards around like social media or media in general?
Oh, I wish I could be off of it all. But I feel like in my business, you kind of always have to be having a base, and because then who knows what the next job would be if they want to see that you have followers, that type of thing. Plus, I have always been, I joke that I have the Friality show, the Friel reality show, because I'm happy to share everything that's going on, even if it's an ailment in my body or whatever.
Well, this is what
I don't really like, I'm not like a private person. I don't want anyone in business. I'm like, whatever.
But this is what I love.
You like it or you don't.
Courtney, this is what I really love about you, because there's some people that you see on TV or in your position, and I just want to like push them over. And I mean that I just want to mess up their hair. It's like, you know, and you're just so raw, and it's hot, and it's beautiful, and it's like, oh God, because when someone's themselves, it gives other people permission. It's like, it's like my nervous system just relax around people like you. It's just, I want to be around people that are self-assured and they're just raw. And it's I think to you, it's like, just because it's who you are, you don't even realize that what a gift it is. But I teach personal branding, and I'm like, you are the brand. It's not, I'm at Fox or I'm an author. It's a part of what you do, but it's not your full identity, right?
It's so funny because I feel like I always do identify that way, or people tell me I have a brand, but I'm like, well, what exactly do
oh girl
I
you
do
are the brand
do with that exactly?
And what I mean by this, and everyone listening right now, you'll check out Courtney and you'll see she's the perfect example, because yes, she's a correspondent and does these things, and she's a mom and a wife, but you see, like, you're into fashion, you're so freaking adorable, like your outfits, she'll talk about
Friel
that.
my look.
Yeah, Friel your, okay, she's even got a saying for it, right? The stuff you share, like even with the Barbie movie, and it's like you're just a glam girl, and again, you're sharing though the low points, you're sharing about the headache, you're sharing the realness, and it really is. What it's done is, you look at someone like Courtney and you're like, oh my gosh, I could do so much with her. Like, even from a business perspective, it's like there's an endless opportunities when somebody has this great personal brand. And this is what I try to
talk about that afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Be my agent.
Yes. But we teach people this, like, because people get so stuck in like, I'm a real estate agent. I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, no, you are the brand. You know,
it's funny though, because like the news business, for example, it's like they're the brand, the station is the brand. They don't want certain people to be having their own brand.
Yeah,
so that's
so how is that?
And then that's like also when you're in news, like I can't really be doing all like the promotion of other things, like paid anyways. I can do the fashion stuff, but there's lines that aren't supposed to be crossed. So it's and for now, I'm still working in news.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about that.
I always say it's the abusive husband I can't leave, because I've tried other things over this past year. So because of the chronic headaches and also working 20 years on weekends, I realized that I didn't want to miss out on any more key years of my children's life, because I was reading about hit and runs for 10 hours every weekend. Like, I just didn't need to be working every weekend. And so I had to step back to go freelance. And that's kind of been challenging for me, because I've worked full time my whole career. And so I'm like, and I'm an addict. So it's like all or nothing. It just puts me in a very uncomfortable space. Yeah. So it's been almost a year that I've been in the freelance position, and I still don't feel comfortable with it. And that's why now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna energetically just like relax a little bit more. And my sister wife, as I call her, my ex-husband's wife, also works with me at KTLA, the stepmom to my 2 children. We're really tight. She wants to write a book about co-parenting, because we have like such a great relationship. We all go on vacation together. We wear like matching Christmas pajamas because it's for the kids. That's the whole point. So we're exploring doing a book proposal for that, and then also the chronic pain book. So, just got a lot of things. But I think the point that I was starting to say before I went on the tangent is that, like, while I've dabbled in other things, like the thing that still really gets me, like that gets my gets me up in the morning is like that performing and telling the stories. Like I do enjoy doing it. I don't love all aspects, like standing out in the rain or covering, a murder and asking someone how they feel that their kid was just shot. Like, that's horrible. But being in the studio, and now I'm doing a little more entertainment reporting as well. Like that's still fun and enjoyable. And it's still how I make the money. Like, I feel like people who, everyone can have a brand, but how exactly like do you monetize that?
Right. No. And you've got to have stuff. All of us, listen, all of us do stuff we don't love. There's components of our companies and businesses and lives that we love, but there's components where you're like, oh gosh, I really don't like this.
And the grass is always greener.
Yeah, that's right. And I
mean, the grass isn't always greener. Sorry, the grass is greener when you water the grass.
Yes. Yeah, water that. You got to fertilize that thing. And I there was a comment on one of your posts, and they said, you look so happy. Someone wrote, like, you look so happy now that you're down to a couple days a week. I thought that was an interesting,
more relaxed.
Yeah, more relaxed.
You did a deep dive if you were in the comments section.
Oh, honey, I'm just, I want you really, like, it's important to me, especially who I enter. Like, it's like a real, like, I want to have you here.
I appreciate you thinking that I have the it factor to be on the show.
You are. What do you think your it factor is? I'm gonna ask you that.
I think it's just keeping it real. Most people can't be that comfortable sharing details about themselves or personal struggles, and I try to just like treat everyone as I would want to be treated. And I'm a girl's girl. Like, I'm rooting for you, for your show. I want everyone to succeed, and I also think, like, over the years, I've learned that there's enough room for everyone, as far as like we all can succeed. And I think I've read this book, or I read an article about like the 20 traits of mentally stable people, and the one thing was that I had like the hardest time with was, you're not jealous of what other people have. And so, because if you see someone, like, obviously there's been jobs I've wanted where other people have gotten them, but you're supposed to kind of train your brain to be like, wow, if that person can have it, so can I.
Amen.
And then that's just how I look at things. And it's like, there's room for us all. And I mean, look, who knows what that person, I've certainly seen many people over the years that have had these high positions that I've wanted, and then seen them fall from grace, or I've seen them have horrible, like, things happen, like health things or whatnot. So I just believe God has my back. The universe has my back. I'm where I'm supposed to be right now. That's all. And when
you live this way, Courtney, because I mentor a lot of women, and when they get inferior complex or when they get jealous, I always explain to them, like, that is such a low vibration. Like, when you have that in your heart, and I ask God to, like, get rid of it, because we're all uniquely and wonderfully created. And it's like, I will never be Courtney and she will never be me. And when you have that understanding, you can actually feel your energy and the resonance, like, it goes higher and higher and higher. And then you become a magnet, like a real magnet, because you know who you are and you're self-assured.
Right.
It's so special. That is such a good it factor.
And the 4 agreements, that book is so dope.
John,
not to take anything personally, not to make assumptions.
Which I'm sure in your career, I mean, my gosh, you've really had to learn this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to not take things personally.
Yes. Like, you get the text from your boss, come see me, and your brain goes to a million different places. Like, oh my God, what am I in trouble for?
What about,
you create, like, these stories? And they're just lies you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
And worrying is just praying for what you don't want.
Oh, girl. What about, like, what would be a great tip, for people, whether they're on social media trying to brand themselves or on camera? What would be a good tip for, like, on camera?
I was going to say just a tip in general. If you are on camera, don't let the haters get to you. Just know not everybody is going to like you, and that's okay.
Do you read the comments?
We're only focused on our stories, and if you don't fit into my story, then, like, I might react to you based on what's going on in my story. So really, it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Do you read the comments?
I do read the comments, and for the most part, my people are great, but I'll get people like that find me, viewers or something. I mean, I definitely, I feel like, have mellowed out over the years too, and so much is changing. Like, who's even watching television anymore? It's all online now.
So much is online.
But I think that I have to do some boundaries. Like, for example, I follow the New York Post on Instagram, and I love their headlines, but I really do not like the people that comment on there. And I just get sucked into it. And I realize I'm wasting so much time. Because sometimes, like, reading comments, like, I was really bummed that Britney Spears took her comments off.
Yeah, I know.
That's a low vibration, me looking at people making fun of her. Like, so she's saved us all time by removing her comments.
Yes. Yeah.
And I wish her the best too, Britt.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you.
We are rooting for you.
Not sure what's going on.
I know. When did you meet your husband?
We met at an AA meeting, and I was speaking, and he came up and said hi. And then, like, a mutual friend kind of followed up to connect us. But it's been so great. Because, look, I dated for 4 years in LA before meeting him after my divorce.
Yeah.
And that was a huge challenge. I thought, like, well, it was, some people, like, don't want to date you because you have kids. And again, you can't take that personally, even though they knew that going into it.
Yeah. Or
some people will pretend that they don't have an issue with drinking and kind of lie about that. And then as things go on, you're like, oh, that was just what you told me. And I can't be with an alcoholic or a cocaine user. I just can't. That's that part of my life has the page
you mean
has turned.
You would date people and you would find out they had issues.
Yeah, they'd all be like, oh, I'm not a big drinker. And then you go to their house and there's a huge bar, or they don't drink like the first couple of dates and then they're like wasted.
I never thought about this.
And look, I don't judge what anyone else does. I don't care. Like, I'm here to help if need be, but it's not like, again, it's the people with the problems that think you're judging them.
Right. So then you guys meet at this meeting, and then when did you know I'm into this guy?
Well, everything was just so easy.
Yeah.
It was just so great. And I am not an argumentative person. I don't like confrontation. Neither does he. We meditate together. I'll make him journal with me. He is very, very evolved. His therapist, that's who I see now, because he's a big therapy person. And I think like when you're not feeling well about something, like, I want to fix it. Mm-hmm. So I want to do what I can, do the research to make it better. And that's what I think has been so frustrating about having a 6-year chronic pain issue, is that I really have tried everything and I continue to try things. And I just have to keep surrendering. Mm-hmm. I mean, I woke up today. I'm glad for that. Mm-hmm. I can't kill myself because I have 2 kids and people who love me, and I actually like life and still want to experience it. Yeah.
So day by day,
trust me, there's been times I've been crying on the floor for days, and I'm just, ice headband on and just in the worst migraine of your life and wanting to drive into a tree. And that's when I turn on K-Love.
Yes.
You listen to K-Love Christian Radio, positive, encouraging K-Love.
So we were connecting over this because I was sharing with her, the worship time it's everything. And again, talk about high frequency. That's high frequency music. Yes. And it is so important. Everyone has their ways. The meditation, praying, mm-hmm. I do it all. Plus
mix
praise. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for driving around LA, because I'm in the car so much, I have kind of a routine. I start off with listening to KNX radio to get the headlines as I'm driving in, so I know what's going on for the day if I haven't already watched TV. And then I switch to get some positive, encouraging K-Love.
Yeah, she's got to.
Some Jesus songs.
She's some Jesus. That's so good. Oh my gosh. I want to touch a little bit on your relationship again. Okay. So when did you get married? Or how long have you been?
We got married during COVID, 10/10/2020.
Okay.
Had a ceremony with 20 people on the roof of my house because we were supposed to do it in Italy, but obviously that did not happen. And we had 250 people on Zoom. We had it was like I was getting married on The Bachelor. There was a TV crew up there with us, and people got to watch on Zoom, which I highly recommend for everyone because then anyone can be there.
This is so cool. I literally just got back from Italy like 5 days ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we were in Lake Como and we were going, okay, why don't we just like get married here?
Hello.
But otherwise we want to do something super intimate, but that is so cool. And can you share what your spouse does? What do you...
Oh, he is a screenwriter, so
Yeah.
he has a couple shows, and one of them he created Winning Time on HBO
So cool.
about the Lakers in the 80s. So I'm really proud of him, and he's just a great guy. It's like the guy that everyone says you deserve, and then you go through like 50 bad ones. And then you finally find your person. It's just so great. And look, my ex-husband, we were together for 12 years, and I'm glad that he is still in my life. And our purpose was to make Cash and Cameron our kids. And I still am friends with his mom and his aunt, and we all hang out at all of the birthdays and holidays. And so
beautiful.
I mean, that's the thing. Like I don't like to have any resentment. Like I'm gonna fix it. I don't want any bad juju anywhere I go.
Yeah.
Like I need to rectify the situation if there is anything bad. And I also I own my part. I try to keep my side of the street clean too. So if there is a negative interaction that is my fault, I will immediately be like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Like I'm taking that out. I'm going through some stuff. But I mean, thankfully, because I meditate, I keep going back to that. I really am just very easy and
this is so beautiful
and down to. I was born on Earth Day, so I think that's why I'm so down to earth.
This is so cool, and a lot of people ask me a lot about relationships, and I deeply resonate with what you're saying. Like seriously, minus the kids part, it's like I'm friends with my ex. I share even a business with him. We're good. He texted me this morning. But my relationship I have now, it's so peaceful. It's so evolved. Mm-hmm. Iron sharpens iron. We're just making each other better. It's easy street. And it's like, it can be that good, people. It can be where it's so cool. I just imagine you guys, because you both are so worldly. You're both in the entertainment world. I just imagine what your house is like, and
it's a mess.
It's a mess.
I always say if either of us was an OCD clean freak, the relationship would not work.
Oh my God.
I mean, I make it a good home, and I'm creative. I like to do decorating stuff and Zen boho vibes, but there's lots of piles around the house.
Yeah.
We'll clean it up if you're coming over, but on day to day. And oh my gosh, don't get me started on the cars. It's like a trash can.
It's the life of an entrepreneur. And when you're building something, when you're on the go all the time, it's that's just kind of the life. It's either it's super clean or not clean.
At the end of the day, what does it matter? I mean, I feel like The Untethered Soul, that's another good book.
Such a good
What does anything mean after you read that book?
I know.
Nothing means anything. It's we're just this is just one little moment in time with millions of people having moments in time that's over.
What's your biggest tip for finding peace and living in it?
Oh, well, again, meditation.
Meditate.
Yeah. And I do a body scan. So I set my phone timer for 20 minutes. I like to have a little project because otherwise, my brain will go all over the place, but that's what happens. So I start with my toes, and I literally go up through every single body part. And I thank it for working. I thank it for it not having cancer. I thank it for doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. And then I usually fall asleep, and that's great. If you fall asleep during meditation and get that high feeling. Yeah. And when I meditate with other people, I feel floating coming out. Cause some of the girls at work, my co-anchors, if we're, have a break between shows, we'll go into the green room closet and do a quick meditation, and we always walk out of there floating.
Oh,
all right, let's go do the news.
This is so good. That's such a good tip. And I was listening to you somewhere, I can't remember where, but you were sharing you love to go to the spa,
the Korean spa.
Oh God, girl, the Korean spa. Mm-hmm.
But I'm not bougie. I don't like to go to high end places.
Me either.
And even with traveling, I don't like the high end stuff because I want to just do it on the cheap. Yeah. I mean, there's a time and place, of course.
No, I completely agree. We go to a hole in the wall place, and get our feet done and all that stuff. And that's what it's all about.
The scrub and the massage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny how I used to like to go to the bar on a Friday night, and now like, hey, if I can go to the spa and or be on the beach in a hammock reading a book. They say I was told your definition of fun changes, and because definitely in the first few years I thought like I'm never gonna have fun again. This sucks, and you just gets more normal, and there's never a time I want to drink at all ever. Yeah, I know certain situations I can't put myself into. Like I'm not gonna sign up to go on a yacht for a 12-hour booze cruise, like where I can't get off the boat. Like that's no, and I'm not gonna go on a girls' weekend with like a bunch of drunk girls. Yeah,
it's awareness. It's absolute awareness. It's like oh my gosh, it's like if you have an eating disorder. I was speaking with someone who had recovering from eating, and I'm like, you don't have Oreos and trigger foods in the house. Like it's like just you have to be so aware to not put yourself in those situations. And that's about self-awareness, getting to know yourself. And then it's going to be so much easier to make those decisions.
I wish I could be sober from Oreos.
Yeah.
That's my weakness. And the McFlurry, the Oreo McFlurry, that's like #1 cheat.
Oh, that's a good cheat.
But I got to just stay away.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for your time.
This was so lovely talking with you. I since we've never met before today, I feel such good vibes. I'm like, can we be friends?
Yes, we can. we absolutely can be friends.
Okay.
And I want to acknowledge you for the work that you're doing and how you're putting yourself out there.
Thank you.
You're really serving other people in a big way. And I admire that so much because it takes courage when you've gone to the dark side, when you've made mistakes, to be so vulnerable, to be like, I was on this, I did this, I did that. And it's like, God rewards you for that. And I'm just so proud of you. And I want everybody to follow you. So pimp yourself out. Where can people follow you? Where can they find you?
I'm primarily on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active, at Courtney Friel. But my book is on Audible as well. It's not even that long. It's like a 3-hour
listen. We can do this. It's 3 hours.
Oh yeah, it's okay. And most people who read that, they read it in like 2 to 3 hours in one sitting because it's juicy, and I'm very conversational and drop some F-bombs and you hear about threesomes and things like that.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah.
We didn't even get into that on here. Okay, get the book.
If
you want to hear about all this. Okay. Thank you, girl. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Yes.